Hi, it's Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky with my pans and plans for the week. So the transition is moving along despite the objection of the President of the United States, who still claims that he has won the election. But there are more and more of his former supporters peeling off. We're even seeing the Attorney General Bill Barr saying that he has not found any fraud in the elections and nothing that would change the outcome of the election. The president clearly is not happy with that. Barr has been a partner to him in so many different ways. Um, on January 20th, I want to say it once again, just as a simple sentence. On January 20th, we will see Joe Biden sworn in as President of the United States of America, and lots of potential changes on the way. We also heard from the president-elect that Anthony Fauci, who is currently the director of infectious disease in our country, will also be asked to serve as the advisor, the chief medical advisor to President Biden. So Anthony Fauci, who has been consistent for over 30 years in his current role, will even have an expanded role as the chief expert and advisor to the President of the United States on COVID. And the president has asked that everyone join him on Inauguration Day for the first 100 days by wearing a mask. It's a simple enough request nationally that we all work together because we know that will actually lower the numbers. So nationally, we saw the highest number of deaths in one day in the United States of America, with 2,800 deaths yesterday. It was also the highest day for the number of cases and the number of hospitalizations. We're still in the wrong trajectory. Illinois saw 217 deaths on Thursday, and there were 11,000 new cases in Illinois. So, we have a long way to go as well. The CDC announced this week that they would begin including nursing homes in the first tranche of vaccines that are coming out. So I had a private briefing from Dr. Ezeki, who's head of the Illinois Department of Health for the state of Illinois. And she said, we're actually going to begin with hospitals and hospital workers, all the way from the people who clean the hospitals to the doctors, administrators, nurses, etc. Anybody who's working in a hospital will get first dibs at getting the vaccine. And next, and that means it's starting next week, really, we're going to see this. And then right after that, people in nursing facilities. And we know that though they make a small number of all the cases in the country, they represent over 40% of the deaths. And so I am very pleased, as someone who has been drilling down on the issue of nursing homes, that is going to be a top priority for us. And also around the country. Last week, the president announced not only Janet Yellen, who I told you would be our new Secretary of the Treasury, but made also some other announcements in the of his economic team. Neera Tanden, who is actually a friend of mine and the director of the Center for American Progress right now, worked with her on many things, has been announced as the director of the OMB, the Office of Management and Budget, which is very good news. Cecilia Rouse has been named to head the President's Council of Economic Advisors and would be the first Black woman to serve in that role. The president also announced an extraordinary team of all women for his communications office, and that includes Jen Psaki, Simone Sanders, and Ashley Etienne. So congratulations to them and to the president-elect. I want to talk to you about the COVID relief package, and there actually has been some movement in the last 24 hours, and we're getting more and more hopeful. Senator McConnell, who is the leader of the Senate, has said that any agreement reached would be included in the must-pass funding bill that would prevent the government shutdowns. It'll be one package, and Speaker Pelosi and Mitch McConnell have spoken about the proposed package, which would be up to $908 billion in relief, $160 billion going to state and local governments and tribal governments, which are all in desperate need of the funding. There would be $300 per week unemployment checks through March. Remember, the last time they were $600. We at least are hopeful to get something for people who have been unemployed. $16 billion for vaccine distribution and $288 billion for small business payroll protection loans. And we are anxious to make sure that this really goes to our neighborhood and mom and pop, and not just to the bigger businesses. What it does not include in the package right now is that stimulus payment that both Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell are saying would be a really important idea. So I definitely am weighing in that we need that money to go into people's pockets. The negotiations, as I said, are still ongoing, and we definitely hope that we're going to have that full agreement by Thursday, because Friday is the day that the government, next Friday is the day that the government runs out of money. Something really troubling that the Secretary of the Treasury, Mnuchin, has done that I want you to know about. In March, when we passed what was called the CARES Act, the Secretary of the Treasury was allocated $500 billion, half $1 trillion, for COVID relief. Well, it turns out that as of today, $455 billion of that has gone unspent. And what has this outgoing Secretary of the Treasury done? Rather than now turn it over to make sure that we help so many families and people that are in need and businesses in need, he is transferring the money into the general fund of the Treasury Department, making it inaccessible to the Biden administration without additional legislation from the Congress. Thanks, but no thanks to the Secretary of the Treasury. That's just mean. So I wanted to talk to you about the mail delivery, especially if you're one of the people who live in the communities of Edgewater, Rogers Park, and West Rogers Park, where I grew up. The mail delivery has been so bad that we have gotten literally hundreds of calls from constituents saying that they haven't received their mail for as long as 4 weeks, that packages aren't arriving, that they're getting messages that the packages actually were sent and didn't arrive, people expecting checks, people expecting bills so that they don't get late payments. They want to pay them on time. Very important, critical mail, especially at a time when people are doing things online more than ever and expecting to see those packages and special deliveries. So we have been answering every single one of the complaints and directing them to the Postal Service, and then demanding some relief for all these communities. They are telling us that they are hiring new staff to go door to door, that they're actually going to streamline the training for people who are hired, and that they're moving some staff into those communities. What the Postal Service has been telling us is that it is COVID related, but if that were true, it would be as bad system wide. And while it may be bad in other communities and other zip codes, it is especially bad here, and even was before the pandemic hit. If you are having trouble, please call my office so that we can help you. We will absolutely address your particular problem as well as the broader problem, the communities. And if you want to apply for a job with the post office, there's a link on how you can do that. They're telling us that they're having trouble hiring people. So Affordable Care Act. This is the last call for enrolling in Medicare. That ends December the 7th. And for the Affordable Care Act, enrollment ends on December 15th. I really do urge you, even at this last minute, to check and make sure if you want to make changes as well as enroll in those programs. You might be able to get better coverage for Medicare Part D, for example. You can call our office to help to make that happen. Finally, once again, it's been 162 days since Russia is paying bounties to people in Afghanistan to kill American soldiers. It was not acceptable 162 days ago that the President of the United States didn't comment on that, and it certainly isn't acceptable now. So there's a lot going on, a lot still hanging in the air, but I am happy to be with you again this week for Jan's Plans and Pans. I'll be back next week. Thank you.
Thank you for watching my video. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where my handle is @Jan Schakowsky.